All right, so I just had my appointment with Dr. Swingle. So Dr. Swingle is 83 years old. He's like the godfather in the 80s of doing this neurotherapy. I mean, as I said before, people fly in from all around the world to have this man treat him. He's in Vancouver, Canada, British Columbia. And so I'm fortunate enough to be an essential worker, whatever the hell that is. So I'm able to go to the U.S. and I'm able to come into Canada. So I'm here in Vancouver. I just had my appointment with Dr. Swingle. And for neurotherapy, on their website, I think they say anywhere from 24 to 40 treatments is necessary in order to recreate pathways that have stopped functioning and to deal with emotional issues, stress factors, brain efficiency, things like that. So what happens with the Swingle, Dr. Swingle, with the Swingle Clinic, is you'll go in and they put some sensors on your brain. Now all they're doing is just reading information. Okay, they're not doing anything to your brain with these sensors. It's just reading. I got this stuff on my ears from them putting the sensors on me. It's just reading what's going on in your brain so they can see what's happening. So they're just sensors. So you go in and they put these sensors on your brain and on your earlobes, and then they ask you to open your eyes, close your eyes. They ask you to count backwards from 200 in increments of 3 or 2 or whatever. And then they play like a sound in the room. And then they say, okay. And then they take that information, and then Dr. Swingle, he's not in the office because of COVID, so you go into his room, and he's there on a big screen. And when I saw him in September, he said, good to see you again. I see you were here 10 years ago. I said, yep. And he goes, well, you were a mess 10 years ago. And we did some work, and we were able to get you doing, better. But even at your best, and I think I did about 9 or 10 sessions, maybe a little bit more, maybe somewhere between 8 and 12, okay? And he said, but now, this last September, he said, what did he say? He said you're 80% worse than what you were at your best back then. He said you're not doing good at all. And he doesn't want you to tell him what's wrong. He'll tell you. He said your stress and trauma is off the charts. Your brain efficiency is low. Your emotional processing is low. Your stress tolerance is low. He said, you're at the high end of not doing well at all. So it's good that you're back, and good that we're going to start treatments. And at that point in September, that's when my wife and I were breaking down. I was going through a lot. He said, your trauma, you've had a tremendous amount of trauma in your life, and you're going through something really traumatic now. So he nailed it. He always knows just by looking at your brain. So anyway, I did the 6 sessions. Had a huge breakthrough on my 4th session when they went to the back of my brain, and it was amazing. They put the sensors on the back of my brain, and then they played like a sound. I think it was kind of almost sounded like ocean. And then they gave me a reward tone. Okay, so the reward tone was kind of like that, and that's what they wanted me to hear all the time above the ocean. So they were both simultaneously playing at the same time when your brain got to the place that they wanted it to be. And the place that they want it to be is in this relaxed state where you can think and process and things like that, and you're not tripping out. Because Dr. Swingle told me, he goes, you know what, Michael? Your brain is always on and always confused. When you shut your eyes, it's like your eyes are not shut. This is not good. So you never get peace, which is my life. I don't want to get on a tangent, but for most of my life, when I close my eyes, you know those laser beams that you can use for your cat, and they jump around all over the place? When I would close my eyes, that's what I would see. Confusion. In my internal conflict, my confusion has been intense for almost all of my life. I'm amazed I'm still here. I'm amazed I haven't offed myself. That's how hard it has been to be me. So that confusion was there all the time, and sometimes if I really tried hard, I could get it to kind of stop and it would turn into a dot. But almost immediately as it would stop and turn into a dot, it would explode into this again. So that's my life. So in September, I was worse than I was 10 years ago. All right, so I was like 45 when I did that. I'm 57 now. So anyway, my fourth session, they for the first 3 sessions they were doing the front of my brain. No really emotional breakthroughs. I just felt tired afterwards and stuff like that, but I didn't feel like radically different or anything. Then the 4th session, they put it on the back of the sensors on the back of my brain. They're working on the back of the brain. So they were doing that ocean sound and then the reward, like I said. And I've been practicing singing since COVID. And I found out that I actually have a voice and I'm pretty good. And so what I'm learning is your voice can come from different sections of your throat. It either come out of your face, it can come from up in here or down here. And so what I learned when they had this, they wanted me to get the reward, right? So then I made it, okay, I've got to get this reward. So what I did, you know how when people talk about the third eye, like New Age people, stuff like that, talk about the third eye right here? When I closed my eyes, like they want you to, and I was hearing the ocean sound, when I would press in all my brain, you know how when you furrow your brow like that? I was furrowing my brain into this section, if you will, internally. So I was putting all my focus and furrowing in, and I felt, actually, I can feel everything going right to here. And as soon as I did that, well, not as soon, about 3 seconds, 4 seconds, boop, oh, I'm getting the reward. This is where I need to be. This is relaxation. This is the theta stage, I think, or whatever they want me to be in. Cool, so I can make it happen. I was able to do it at will. Now, as soon as I did that, I had a huge emotional breakdown and I started crying. The therapist came in, she's like, okay, are you okay? I said, no, I'm fantastic. I can't believe it. And I remember saying to her, I understand now. I get it now. I understand. And what I was saying was, I know how to relax my brain now. I know how to have peace. Fuck me, that's amazing, right? So through that session was 45 minutes long or whatever it was, I was able to control that reward 85% of the time. At will. I could just grab it and stay there. Even when she came into the room and I heard the door and her walk in the room and, are you okay? Everything okay? I was able to stay in that after the second time she did that because it's startling. So I was able to control my brain. Wow, I've never been able to do that before in my knowledge. So that was amazing. And I just kept bawling the whole time. And I wasn't crying about anything specific. There wasn't any specific trauma. There wasn't any specific emotion or anything like that was coming up. It was just emotion. Which, by the way, guys, girls, when we have emotions and we feel like releasing, we need to do that. You need to let go and stop being in control and just feel and be emotional, because that's how the body heals. So many guys, we hold on to everything and we don't actually allow ourselves to feel, well, guess what? You're damaging your brain, you're damaging yourself. So you need to lose control in a controlled environment and let yourself feel. Or you're going to blow a gasket. So it's a pressure cooker, right? That's why so many guys are so fucking angry. So anyway, she said, after the session was over, I told her about the thing. She was like, wow, that's really great. And then she said, I think you should just, hang out here for a while, not go anywhere, because that was really intense for you. I said, no, I'm good. I like intensity. It's fine. Got him. She goes, I don't think you should drive. I said, no, I'm okay. So I got in my car, and in Vancouver, his office is in a great place. I just went right down the street, past Pender, right to the ocean, and the view of the mountains and Whistler and Grouse and everything is just stunning. And I walked across the street onto the boardwalk there along the water, and I just started emotionally crying again. I had another breakdown, which was fantastic. If you let it happen, it's fantastic because you're releasing. And the amount of trauma I've had from when I was a baby to all my life, I mean, this stuff needs to be processed. And so that was an amazing experience. And I drove home. I was exhausted. And it was an amazing, amazing thing. I came back 2 weeks later. They put the sensors on my brain. And we did the same thing again. This time, no emotion. But what I was able to do, it was immediately grab that tone, furrow my brain into that third eye area, and grab that tone and boot, and put my brain into a relaxing state. But I wasn't only able to do that. Remember how I told you of singing? Boom, boom, you can put it in different places. I started toying with the tone, and I started shifting it further back in my brain. Instead of furrowing my brain into this area, I started bringing it back, and I was able to maintain the tone. So I was playing with the tone and able to maintain that place where they wanted me. That, I think it's theta, that theta place. Okay? That was amazing. And then I asked her what progress I had made. She goes, well, I really can't tell you. They don't tell you. They want you to talk to Dr. Swingle. She goes, but that was you're making really good progress. And so I had no emotional breakthrough, nothing like that time. I was totally in control. I left. I felt fantastic. And I didn't feel like anything happened after that. The big breakthrough was that one. And then I took a break because of finances and COVID and all these types of things. So I think the last time I went was December. That all happened in December. So now it is March 2nd. Just 2 weeks ago, I started doing DMT, microdosing, 3.5 milligrams. 3 times, every 3 days. So I think I've done it 5 times. The third time I did DMT, my life changed. So I just met with Dr. Swingle. He did the brain scan, 5-point brain scan. He was blown away. Okay, remember I told you, 20 to 40 sessions is what it usually takes to get someone better. He was blown away. He said my emotional processing and my brain efficiency has markedly improved. Huge. He goes, I'm well above normal range. What? That's amazing. Now, I thought Dr. Swingle would be very interested in DMT. He said he didn't even know what it was. I think that's hard to believe, being a 60s kid, 50s, 60s kid. But anyway, maybe it's because it's illegal and he's not going to cop to it or whatever. But I am so much better. He said my stress tolerance has increased 50%. He basically said, he said, what do you want to do? He said, how you feeling? I said, I feel fantastic. He goes, well, do you want to come back? Or are you doing good? So basically he was saying, from what I can see on this paperwork, if you feel like it, you don't need to come back. That's 6 sessions. That's not 20. That's not 40. That's 6 sessions. That's DMT. I'm convinced. So then I started pushing him more on the DMT. I started telling him what I was doing, because I'm also doing the DMT with EMDR music, bilateral music, left to right. I just came up with that idea to do it, and I'm doing it, and it's amazing. So he said, well, and then I said, well, what would you have me do? And he said, looking at, he goes, you're really good. He goes, if I was to do anything, though, I want to work on the front of your brain more. I want to work on your stress tolerance more. I want to deal with some of this trauma and this stress, and really go after it aggressively. And I said, aggressively, I'm all for that. Let's do it. He says, okay. He goes, that's what you should do then. Come back for another 6 sessions and we'll reevaluate your brain. And I'll do that. Now, in the beginning, before I brought up DMT, he was saying the results are amazing. These are huge, so on and so forth. I'm really impressed, so on and so forth. Once I told him about the DMT and how I had my third experience DMT, and how everything changed for me, he kind of shifted back to, well, yeah, you've had major increases, but we've seen this before. I'm like, after 6 visits? He goes, yeah. And, at that feeling, I don't know. I don't know, but I do know how I feel. And I feel way different than before that third DMT experience. It changed my life. I mean, I am getting out of my way, which has always been my problem. I have no desire to drink alcohol. What? I've always wanted to drink alcohol. I've always wanted to abuse drugs and alcohol. Always. I have no desire. I actually went and had nachos and a couple beers just to do it, because I can, because I'm single now. I can do what I want. And I did it, and I found myself leaving after about an hour and a half, not even buzzed or anything. And I realized that I've never, ever done that before in my life. I've never gone somewhere and had a drink just to have a drink with my meal. I want to buzz. I want to get drunk. I want to get fucking high. I want to get drunk. I want to escape. But not this time. I drank like regular people do who don't have addictive personality. It was weird. And then I'm going home, and before I'd stop by and I'd buy whatever, coolers or a fifth of alcohol or whatever. I have no desire. I have no desire to smoke weed. The other day, I decided to look at porn, and I brought it up, and then I went, no. I mean, this is amazing. This DMT has changed my brain chemistry, and I just found out for sure it has. Marketably, he said. I'm able to process. I'm not making fast decisions. I'm thinking about things, which, I've done a lot of things. I've done a lot of healing. I've done a lot of therapy. There's a book called The Obstacle is the Way. And that's changed my life too, just the way I think. It's about Marcus Aurelius and Stoic philosophy and the way to look at things, and always flip it. You can always flip it and make it positive. And that's changed my life too. I highly recommend that book, or the audiobook, The Obstacle is the Way. Amazing. So here we are, and I just got proof that DMT worked. Now, it's only been 2 weeks. Okay, so I'm going to give it more time. Time tells, right? But we'll see what happens. But right now, I'm very calm. I'm confident. I don't feel stressed. I wake up. I want to be aware, and I want to be present. I don't want to drink. I don't want to do drugs. I want to be present in life. I want to be a blessing to people, not a curse. And this is something I've said, but it's been a struggle. I'm not struggling anymore. I'm just living my life, and I'm being dynamic. This is cool. I'm not white-knuckling anything anymore, which I have for my whole life. 9 years ago, I had a gun in my mouth. I mean, I'm amazed I'm here. I got mental disease on both sides of my family, my mom and my father, and I've got dementia and Alzheimer's that my both grandparents and my father have and my mother have died from. I'm concerned about that. So anyway, that's what happened. It's pretty amazing. So I'm going to continue doing DMT every 3 days and see what happens and start journaling more about that. And I'm going to do some more sessions. He said, you know what? Why don't you come in and do 6 more sessions and we'll really aggressively work on the front of your brain. And I think you'll be out of here. That's 12 sessions. And he's saying I don't even need more now. That's 6 sessions. And my brain is fixed. At 57 years old. Fuck, man, why couldn't I have done this when I was in my 20s? Not that I regret it, because I've gone through all, I'm just saying, because everything that I've gone through, you know, like I said before, we go through what we go through to help people get through what they're going through. I help so many people because of the trauma I've been through. But now I'm through the other side. So not only have I been through it, but I've been through it and out the other side. And now I'm at this place where I'm not going through it anymore. Amazing. So there's the update. Like and subscribe if you would, if you want to hear more.